Okay, so we're going to do a quick refresher on what concentration is and how that relates to dilution, which is something that might be helpful for lab number 1. And concentration is a measure of the moles of solute per liter of solution. We typically use the units of molarity, that's use a capital M for that. We might also see millimolar, micromolar, some variation of molarity. But molarity is the number of moles of solute per liter of solution. When we are dealing with a dilution, we can use this equation, which says M1V1 equals M2V2. And that tells us that the initial molarity, or concentration, times the initial volume will equal the final molarity times the final volume. And this is true because molarity times volume equals moles. And when you are performing a dilution, what you're doing is you're adding solvent to your solution, but you are not changing the number of moles of solute. So what happens in a dilution is the number of moles beforehand equals the number of moles afterwards. Because again, all you are changing is the amount of solvent. You're changing the volume, not the number of moles. So that's why this equation works. That's why it's valid. Thinking about an example, we'll do something like this in the lab. If you take 2 milliliters of a 4 molar solution and you add 8 mils of water to that, what would the new concentration be? So I'm going to use this equation right here, and I'm going to identify what variables I know. So I know my initial molarity, it's 4 molar. I know my initial volume, it's 2 milliliter. I know that I add 8 mils of water to my initial volume. So that means I know that my final volume is going to be 10 milliliters. 2 plus 8 is 10. So I know what V2 is. I don't know what M2 is. That's what I'm trying to solve for. Now I'm going to take these numbers, I'm going to plug them into my equation. So M1 is 4 molar, V1 is 2 milliliters, M2 is, I don't know, I'm going to put X there for my unknown, and V2 is 10 milliliters. So if I rearrange and solve for my unknown, notice how this cancels out, and notice how I'm keeping track of units, and you'll see that milliliters cancels out, leaving me with an answer that's in molarity. So this value here, 4 times 2 divided by 10, that value is 0.8, and the units for this are molar, because that is the one unit that we're left with. So make sure you're keeping track of units when you're doing your work, as well as showing your work.